host, Nizzy. And in this video, you guys, I just want to come and give you guys a little NBA playoff update. A bunch of breaking news this morning. Just found out that Kawhi will be out for Game 5 with that knee injury that he suffered in Game 4 there, late in the fourth quarter. Tweaked his knee. Basically never came back in. I think there's only about 4 minutes left in the game. In Game 4 there, they were still able to hang on and close out for the victory. Kawhi never ended up coming back into the game, and he is going to be missing Game 5 now with that knee injury, which happens tonight. So this opens the series right back up, you guys. I mean, after those last 2 games in LA there, we're looking at it thinking the Clippers are going to run away with it here. Pretty much just dominating the Jazz on their home court. But the unfortunate thing is that the Clippers would have to get one road win to be able to clinch and take the 7-game series, which seems a lot tougher now without Kawhi in the fold. So if he's not able to come back in this series, I think it's game over for the Clippers. I think the Jazz will probably close it out in 6 if Kawhi is unable to go. So we'll have to see what happens there. I was reading a few reports saying that it's possible he misses the rest of the series. Like I said, if that's the case, I think the series is done, and I think the Jazz will be taking that. Worst case scenario, I don't think the Clippers will be able to win an away game without Kawhi. So worst case scenario for the Jazz, they have to finish her off in 7 at home. But if no Kawhi available, I would expect them to probably be able to take it away in 6, no problem. So I just don't got a lot of faith in Paul George being able to lead the way. He has been a lot better this playoffs, a couple nice 30-point performances for him. But obviously having a running-mate in Kawhi, that takes a lot of the pressure off himself. It just makes Paul George's life a little bit easier. So without Kawhi there, he's going to be the main focal point. He's going to be getting the toughest defender on him. Some other guys are going to have to step up. Marcus Morris, Reggie Jackson, guys like that are going to have huge, big-time performances to be able to come out with at least one road win here. Going to be super tough, man. I'm putting money down on the Jazz tonight for the win. I would expect them to take the W tonight at home, get back on track, take a 3-2 series lead, and then if Kawhi's not available in Game 6, I would say, yeah, she's over and the Jazz will be taking her. So that's a huge bit of injury news there, you guys. That changes the landscape of what can happen here big time. A lot of role players got to step up now for the Clippers, but we'll have to see what happens anyways. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below about that injury with Kawhi. See if he'll be able to come back this series or not. So another injury, well, not really an injury, I guess, but another update. Chris Paul got put on the COVID protocol list, so he's out for an indefinite period of time. I'm not too sure exactly how the COVID protocol works anymore. I know when the Raptors, I'm a Raptors fan, so they got hit pretty bad there mid-season, and they had guys out for like 2-3 weeks. I don't know if that's going to be the same scenario with Chris Paul here. I don't know if Buddy's had a shot or not. Apparently, if you had your shot, you can have a lesser COVID protocol period, be able to get back on the floor and get back with your teammates sooner. So I don't know if that's an option, but talk about a perfect timing, I guess, because they just finished clinching a 4-0 series against Denver, and then this COVID protocol comes up for Chris Paul, who is their star point guard, obviously the guy who's been leading the train all the way through the playoffs here. So yeah, pretty big that they were able to close out that series against Denver. Now they got about probably a good week, I would say, of rest here before they'll have to start up the Western Conference Finals. So with that being said, that gives Chris Paul some time to get healthy and get back. Like I said, I don't know how long he has to stay out. We'll have to just kind of keep updated on that and see what happens. But I would assume he's probably going to be ready to go for the Western Conference Final. I'd say probably the worst case scenario, he might miss Game 1 and maybe Game 2 at worst case scenario. But I would assume he's going to be there for the majority of the Western Conference Final. So that's not as big a news as the Kawhi injury, obviously, because Kawhi is still battling in the middle of a series with the Clippers right now. Chris Paul's already clinched his series against Denver, so he's a little more ease on the mind, being able to sit back, even though he's not able to practice with his teammates or anything at the moment. But at least they're clinched and they're on to the next round. So, and then the last little bit of NBA news for the day, you guys, just wanted to talk about Kevin Durant's outstanding performance last night, bringing back the Brooklyn Nets from 17 down in the second half, and just annihilating the Nets all by himself, or the Bucks, sorry, annihilating the Bucks all by himself. I mean, pretty crazy, to be honest with you. I'll just give you his little stat line here. Kevin Durant went off for 49 points, 17 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks as well as shooting 69% from the field and 13 of 16 from the line. So this guy just went off in the second half, man. He didn't have a super strong first half. I watched a bit of the first half last night, and I thought the game was over, to be honest with you. I shut her down. I thought the Bucks were going to run with it when they had that nice lead in the first half there. And then they just kind of got complacent, got a little too patient with things, and KD just burned them, absolutely burned them alive. I mean, this guy was hitting anything and everything, dagger 3 balls. He was not allowing his team to lose. James Harden obviously came back off that injury. Didn't really play that well, didn't expect him to play that well because he's clearly not 100%. Looked like a pylon out there, but still was able to give you some decent rebounds and assists. Didn't shoot worth a shit, but that's tough when you don't have your one leg under you with your hamstring injury. So that's just the way that goes. But overall, did a decent job facilitating and just taking the ball out of Kevin Durant's hands a little bit, giving him a break on the floor. KD also played in all 48 minutes last night, which is craziness. Obviously, his Achilles is fully healed and ready to roll if you're playing all 48 of the games. So even James Harden with his bum hamstring there still played 45 minutes in the game. So your top dogs were putting in the minutes for him last night. This was a huge game. This should have been Milwaukee's all day long. They should be embarrassed once again. I mean, how do you give up that kind of a lead, especially when you're leading big time in the third quarter? It's not like the beginning of the third quarter they came back and started taking over. They had that lead right until the end of the third, going into the fourth, and then it was just over from there. KD proceeded to just roast them up on a spit. So crazy to me, man. I do not know how Milwaukee blew that one. I mean, they should be embarrassed in my opinion. Especially when, like, you can't count James Harden as being back. I don't count that as having 2 out of your 3 big 3 because obviously Kyrie's out. I don't count that as James being back because he wasn't even close to himself. I mean, you could have put anyone out there and been able to go get a few boards and a couple assists throwing the rock around. The guy couldn't run. You could see him on the defensive end when he was playing. He would just basically stand there as a pylon, and then lots of times Giannis kind of noticed it early on in the game, and Giannis would just blow right by him because he knew James wasn't going to try and defend him properly because he's going to rip his hamstring. So no surprise there that he was a pylon all night, but hey, it worked out for them. Obviously, that's all they really needed out of the guy. A few rebounds, a few assists, and a few points there, and he was good to go. Did what he could to try and help the team win. And obviously, Kevin Durant just had a masterful night. I mean, this proves one of those games where he just proven to the world that he is one of the best players, if not the best player in the world right now. Obviously, you could put him in the conversation with Kawhi and the Joker winning MVP this year. Guys like Chris Paul, LeBron James. I mean, he's right up in there in that top echelon of players in the NBA. So great game last night for the Nets. Really, really disappointing for the Bucks. Obviously, these guys got a long road ahead now trying to get back into this thing and try and take it in 7. We'll have to see what happens. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. You think the Bucks blew that one last night, or do you think that was KD's magic bringing them back into it, or a little bit of both? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. But anyways, you guys, that's about it for this video. Once again, I appreciate all the support, and this is Nizzy with Nizzy Sports Chat signing off.